Hello and welcome to the Town Council Personnel and Appointments Committee meeting of Tuesday, November 19th, 2024. It is 5:42. Just write that down. Sorry for the technical difficulties getting going, but we're going now. Roll call. All members are present. Dan Gajewski, Councilor Rusk, and myself, Bruce Jones. Councilor Rusk, would you like to make a motion for the approval of minutes?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the Town Council Personnel and Appointments Committee meeting minutes of October 15th, 2024. So moved.
Second.
Do we have any questions or comments? Nope. Nothing. All right. All those in, wait for Dan to come back.
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 All right. That passes 3-0-0. And we have no calendar communications. So, okay. New business. We're just going to move the order just a little bit from the agenda. And we have Mr. Kennedy is in the waiting room.
I'm promoting him now, Chair Jones.
Okay.
There he is.
All right. Councilor Rusk, would you like to make the motion
Yes.
for Mr. Kennedy?
I make a motion to recommend a resolution appointing Clint Kennedy to the Planning and Zoning Commission as an alternate member. So moved.
Second.
Second. All right. Welcome, Mr. Kennedy, or Clint.
Thank you all. I appreciate it. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Yes. We can.
Great. Good evening. Your timing was excellent. I just bounced out of a policy committee meeting on the Board of Ed. So.
Oh, perfect.
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
All right. Great. All right. So this is for a position on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And I will open the floor to questions.
I'm going to start with the first. Is there any concern about somebody who works for the Board of Ed being on the Planning and Zoning Commission? Do we have any rules? And I apologize for not looking that up before the meeting. Chair Jones, do you know of any?
Not that I know of. No, I did ask. I asked about it and it seemed okay. I talked to the town manager.
Okay.
And he said it was fine. So
I don't mean to speak out of turn, but there is only one time of year where I typically present to planning and zoning as part of the CIP process. And of course, I will demur or stand down for that should this become an issue, theoretically.
Thank you.
Clint, tell us a little bit why you want to be on the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Sure. All three of you are familiar with me or somewhat familiar with me and so forth. I won't do the full bio and drag your meeting on any more than you need to. Obviously, for full disclosure, I am a big proponent of open space. I am on trails every day, and I working on a project that I'm very proud of, the Go Groton project, which has pulled together members of the Board of Ed and the town and community members and so forth. I'm also a child of Groton. Butler Cutler Fitch kid who came to Groton because my father had his first job at EB. And I had a wonderful childhood of a father working at EB, living in a middle-class neighborhood in Groton, being able to afford that. And it's a lot of why I am where I am now. I am by no means a planning and zoning expert, and I'm not pretending to be. I think I'm a fairly thoughtful person. You obviously have a resume of mine and see what I've been doing in my professional career and so forth. But I'm interested really in the position because I'd like to be part of get Groton to the good and striking the right balance between economic development, affordable housing, and getting kids outdoors and people outdoors and enjoying those outdoors and so forth. And that is a delicate balance as I look at the schools that have come offline and other questions in front of the town council and in front of planning and zoning. I think there's a lot of work to be done. And if I can be helpful in getting through that work to get us to the better and solve some of these issues, I'd like to try to do it.
Okay. Do we have additional questions?
Yeah, I got it. So
Counselor Yaski?
Thank you, Mr. Kennedy. Full disclosure, we have known each other a very long time.
I can confirm that.
Yeah, so I'm quite comfortable with Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kennedy, I do have a couple of questions for you.
Please.
I know you mentioned affordable housing and open space, but one of the things I am that is could be on the Planning and Zoning Commission's radar is the SP Butler School development and the Pleasant Valley zoning regulations for that. So I was wondering if you were familiar with those current zoning regulations at all.
I am not intimately involved in that or have been and so forth. I'm obviously well aware of the political considerations, and I know those two buildings quite well. You can't miss the Keep Butler Green signs that are in a good portion of lawns in my immediate area, as well as yours, Dan. And I've been in Pleasant Valley quite a few times over the past years in my role as tech director. So to answer your question directly, no, I'm not intimately up to speed on that. I know there is quite a few regulation docs and so forth that the town has made available dating back to the 70s, as I perused earlier today in preparation for this. But no, not intimately, but I would like to move and support those efforts as best we can in the very near future.
All right, and just for your knowledge, SP Butler is currently RS12, which is residential 12,000 square feet, I want to say, and PV is RM, which I believe is a residential mixed use, but don't quote me on that. So
Got it.
just to have some familiarity with those and what the current regulations are, because the council has put out an RFP for Pleasant Valley. The SP Butler is still in the TOPE committee process with town manager Burt. We don't know where that's going to head yet. But it's just something that could come to the radar, and I want you kind of familiar with those current existing zoning regulations. And then,
sorry, Dan, I'm sorry to interrupt. That RFP for Pleasant Valley, is that a public document that's available on the town of Groton site currently?
Yes, it is. It is on the town of Groton site.
Thank you.
So I would encourage you to kind of take a look at that. And then also, would you, this kind of goes into the development of more properties. We have a lot of applications recently to change zoning regulations for development. What is your comfort level on that? Just because I know you stated you are a believer in open space, but also understand the need for development. So I want to know what your comfort level is on changing potential zoning regulations. And I know you mentioned the political impact as well. So I just kind of
So I guess the lens that I look through that I would look through in considering that is kind of that 30% number. And I don't know the origins of that exactly, but it certainly has been part of the conversation that I've had with John Reiner, and I know his efforts in the POCD that's getting started and so forth. I think that's a fair target number and should be kind of a guiding light for Groton as we go through this. I think it's a case-by-case basis. And I guess brass tacks, I also think there needs to be obviously an equity conversation across all of Groton. As a resident of Mystic, I know sometimes that my current neighbors have some outsized political sway. And I think that should absolutely be a consideration as we deliberate. If I would be deliberating and having these conversations, not only a lens of 30% and understanding what these implications would be with decisions in the future, but also making sure that we're providing, making equitable decisions across all of Groton as we move forward. Again, I'm somewhat where my head really is at is balancing those open space with affordable housing, with economic development. And I know that there's, I think of recent cases, everything from what's happening on just north of the city, just north of 95. And I look and I see what happened to Noank Elementary School not too long in the past. Those were very different outcomes. I'm not judging those outcomes, but I think we should take some of the recent history into account as we make these decisions moving forward from school perspectives. I know the property that sits on 184 just south of the volleyball facility that's there, the sandlot facility, is also an issue as well. And obviously we can't have this conversation without discussing, what the future for the oral school looks like. So short answer is certainly we need to strike a balance through a 30% lens, but also an equity lens across the town.
I greatly appreciate that. Was way in depth, and that was I appreciate you displaying your knowledge some of the town history. Just one more quick thing that the Planning and Zoning Commission has that's kind of important to a lot of people in town is the impact of short-term rentals. The council recently sent a letter to the Planning and Zoning Commission about waiting for court cases and short-term rentals, and there was a the letter stated, I know it is a public document and it can't, if you send me an email, I can get it to you. But the letter was stating that waiting for the Planning and Zoning Commission to not act on short-term rentals because of a court case that was determining the constitutionality of banning them. I wonder what your experience is in working with attorneys and understanding the aspects of certain laws and the impact that changes that the Planning and Zoning Commission may make could have a negative legal impact, a unconsequential negative legal impact on the town. So if
Sure.
you could talk a little bit about that.
I'll give you my 2 cents. Throughout positions I've held in my professional career, I've worked regularly with attorneys one-on-one, but also from afar. In general, obviously, Floyd Dugas is a regular at Board of Ed meetings, so very familiar having those conversations. That being said, the actual issue at hand, from my standpoint, as of what I know currently, I don't think there's any action that should be taken immediately. I think more data should be collected, and for taking the temperature of the town, living near a handful of short-term rental properties currently, I think this is a major issue, but I don't think it's one that needs to be resolved today, tomorrow, the next day. I think having more information and letting others test those waters until we can get a clearer picture of what a stable ruling could be would put us in a position to make a more informed decision down the road. I can put a time frame on that, but I don't think I have enough information to really do that.
Yeah, I mean, the time frame is just, it's so wonky. I thank you so much for coming this evening, Dr. Kennedy, in your busy time, and I thank you for your willing to service, and I yield back, Chair Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Rusk?
Actually, Councilor Gajewski hit on all of my questions, so thank you, Dr. Kennedy, for coming tonight.
My pleasure. May I ask a question if it's appropriate?
Yes.
One of the things that I'm curious about are the mechanics of the alternate position and so forth. I don't need a full dissertation, but I'm just curious as far as what an alternate position looks like as opposed to a regular or a full position and so forth. As far as, again, the mechanics of how that works. Am I there to help build a quorum as needed, fill in long-term for a full member of the committee that may have reasons for not being able to attend or other?
I would say all of that. You're basically a full member in waiting. You'll be familiar with issues. So if somebody changes or a full member leaves for some reason, their term expires or whatever, a person will be moved up. So that could potentially be you or one of the other alternates. You'll fill a quorum if the quorum's not there. And give you time to get used to it, understand the terminology, read the different planning and zoning rules. So it's just, getting yourself, it's a training ground before you start, move up. So
I think that's definitely a feature, not a bug. Thank you. That's very helpful. So
yeah, I was just going to encourage you there. You can talk to Mr. Reiner, to sort of get a display of documents that you can sort of get familiar with on different planning and zoning stuff. So
should I proceed? I would like permission to do that. John has become a friend in our work in Groton, and he is a wealth of information. So I'd like to be a mentee for him. Yes.
Yep.
In a way.
Fantastic. All right. If there are no more questions, we can vote on Clint Kennedy for an alternate position on Planning and Zoning Commission. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. That passes unanimously. Okay, so congratulations, Mr. Kennedy. So what will happen now, or Clint? I don't know why I keep calling you Mr. Kennedy.
Clint
Or
is
Dr.
fine.
Kennedy.
What will
Only-
happen now is, so we approved you to move forward to the full council, and then you'll be presented to the council, and they will vote on you. And if it's a favorable vote, then you will be an alternate member on the planning. That'll
Thank
be
you.
done the next council meeting, which will be December 3rd, probably, I'm assuming.
Is it appropriate for me to plan on attending the town council meeting, the next meeting,
No.
or is that not
No.
typically done? Fair
That's
enough.
typically done. Nope.
Nothing, not that I don't want to attend a town council meeting, but we're headed into budget season and there may be a few meetings in my future. So thank you.
Yep. No, you're set. You're all set. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, hey, I appreciate you all taking the time. And I promise I will try to do good things.
Okay. Thanks, Clint.
Take care, everybody. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. So now we will move on to reappointments. And we've done appointments. Move on to reappointments. Counselor Rusk,
Thank you. I make a motion to recommend a resolution reappointing Jeffrey Pritchard to the Planning and Zoning Commission as a full member. So moved.
not hearing any second. We will move on to the next reappointment.
I make a motion to recommend a resolution reappointing John Parfit, to the Board of Assessment Appeals as a full member. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of Mr. Parfit?
Aye.
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 That passes unanimously. Okay, next reappointment.
I make a motion to recommend a resolution reappointing James Mitchell to the Board of Assessment and Board of Assessment Appeals as a full member. So moved.
Second.
Second. All those in favor of James Mitchell?
Aye.
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 I should have asked if there were any questions. Are there any there were any questions? All right, next one. Counselor Rusk.
I'm going to massacre this last name, but I'm going to try. I make a motion to recommend a resolution reappointing John. Does anyone know how to say that?
Piazenza. That's what I'm guessing.
Piazenza.
Yeah.
To the Board of Assessment Appeals as a full member. So moved.
Second.
Okay,
My
any
apologies.
questions on John?
My apologies for massacring your last
No,
name.
that's okay. Any questions or comments? No. All right. All those in favor of Mr. Piazenza?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Onto the library board. Counselor Rusk.
Make a motion to recommend a resolution reappointing Catherine Brightly to the library board as a full member. So moved.
Second.
All right, any comments or questions? Nothing, all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next reappointment.
I make a motion to recommend a resolution reappointing Jenna Lowenstein to the library board as a full member. So moved.
Second.
Second, comments or questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then we have we did all the reappointments. We have a on page 25. Mr. Russ, can you read that?
I believe the motion's on 26. Is that? I make a motion to recommend a resolution
Okay.
approving an appointment term end date change for Nancy Codiana to 7/31/2008 and Denise Taveras to 7/31/2027. So moved.
Second.
Oh, did I say 2020? 2028, or did I say 2008?
2020. I heard
Okay.
2020.
Thank you.
2028, I think. Yep. And these are, in the second, I ask you the second.
Yep.
I guess when they originally done, there was different, they had a different date. Okay. Any questions on this? This is just the correcting end of term dates. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 3-0. Okay. All right. So I think that concludes. We have no other business.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 Town Council Personnel Appointments Committee meeting adjourns at 6:03. Okay. All right.
Good night, everyone.
Night.